The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
So please welcome up Director of Athletics Alan Morgan and our head volleyball coach, now head sand volleyball coach, Dan Ahiers.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Adam, and thank everyone for being here this morning. What an exciting day it is in the life of Carson-Newman Athletics. And I'm pleased to announce this morning that Carson-Newman will be adding the 19th athletic program to our institution, and along with our volleyball coach and soon to be our sand volleyball, or as some choose to call it, beach volleyball program, Coach Ahiers. Several reasons we're excited about adding this to our institution. Number one, Dan has agreed to coach our team at no additional pay. Now, who would turn that down? And so we're delighted that he is willing to take on another responsibility and do so gladly. Secondly, it gives more ladies the opportunity to participate in an NCAA sporting event and a collegiate sporting event at that. So we're pleased to broaden our diversity on the campus and continue to do that. Our women's athletic program is very strong at Carson-Newman with outstanding coaches, and we want to continue to give these young ladies additional opportunities. Secondly, for those of you that kept up with our volleyball program this year, and Coach Ahiers and his wife Holly's here today as well, and we're delighted she's here along with her, Dan. You know that our volleyball program this year set an all-time record for most wins in the program, advanced to the NCAA tournament through Coach Ahiers' leadership and quality performance from our athletes. So we're very proud of where our volleyball program is presently and where it's headed. So that's a second reason that we're adding it. Thirdly, it adds a lot of visibility to our university. And we just believe that one program, if it's strong, it will help all other programs rise in visibility. So this will give Dan and our young ladies more visibility for Carson-Newman University. He'll tell you a little bit later an exciting schedule that we have. And I think you will be as pleased with this schedule as we are. We're often asked, why don't we compete against the University of Tennessee? Why don't we compete against other Division I programs, Chattanooga, East Tennessee State, and others? We'd be delighted to do that. We'd love to play any Division I program on any level that would be willing to play. However, by them scheduling us, it does not help their RPI. It doesn't help their ability to get to the next level NCAA tournament. So they really have nothing to gain by playing us, and we have everything to gain by playing them. So it's very difficult for any Division I program to agree to play us. But this will give us an opportunity to do that, and Dan will share some of that with you. So for those reasons, and again, Coach Ahiers will not be receiving any university funds to do this. Another great reason to add the program, right? You got a free coach, you got a guy that's willing to take on additional budget responsibilities and raising of funds. And so we're delighted to be here to announce this exciting program for our young ladies in the area. So with that said, let me turn it over to Coach Dan Ahiers, our volleyball coach, of who we're most proud and pleased to recognize is now our beach and our sand volleyball coach. Coach Ahiers.
Thank you. Like you said, it's been 1 year since we last sat in this room and had an interview introducing you as the head indoor coach. And this, the first year couldn't have gone any better. And I think like my wife says, Jeff City's got everything we want. Carson-Newman's got everything we want. It's the great people. It's a great atmosphere. It's got the morals that we want. It's got the ethics that we want. It's got the Christian background that we want here. Only thing she said we were lacking was the beach, and so had to start a beach volleyball team for her. But yeah, I think this just broadens the horizon of Carson-Newman. Carson-Newman's got a great history in athletics, in academics, and they're also at the forefront right now in athletics and in academics. And this just reaches out even further, being only the second Division II school in the country to have sand volleyball enables us to compete against all the best schools in Division I And I think it's, like you said earlier, Mr. Morgan, it provides an opportunity for more young Christian women to come to Carson-Newman and do what they love, play volleyball, play sand volleyball, and get the best education that they can. And so I think with those reasons is why we started sand volleyball, along with it makes our indoor program better, and it provides student athletes right now in an emerging NCAA sport of sand volleyball. They asked us that question, are you going to have sand? Are you going to have sand? Now we can answer, yes, we're going to have sand. We're going to be the only second Division II school in the country to have sand. And it also provides a lot of those schools in the state of Tennessee that don't have sand volleyball, Tennessee, East Tennessee State, Chattanooga, all those girls that play 4 years at those universities. If they wanted to play a 5th year of sand, they could come get a great master's degree at Carson-Newman University and play sand volleyball. And I just mentioned just the schools in Tennessee. The entire South Atlantic Conference doesn't have sand volleyball, so it helps our recruiting there. And it helps our recruiting across the entire country. There's still 1,000 universities that don't have sand. And all those young Christian women out there that want to play and play in a great environment like Carson-Newman, they can do it here.
Questions for Coach Ahiers or Alan Morgan?
Either one of you can answer this. What's the scholarship situation? Will there be new scholarships for sand volleyball?
It's a great question. We will not have any sand-only specific scholarships for a few years until our fundraising gets up, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's another reason we started sand here is a couple of major donors wanted us to get sand. It's something we've been talking about since the girls started playing sand recreationally last springtime. And they're like, well, what does it take to add sand here? I was like, well, it's going to take some donor sponsorship and some fundraising. And a couple of people have stepped up, have fundraised for us really well, and we don't need sand scholarships to compete immediately. We've got a great indoor team. A lot of them will play outdoor in the sand in the springtime. And we've also got 2 sand-only commits already coming in next fall. So we'll have some sand-only specific players, we'll have some indoor specific players, and then a group of about 8 that'll cross over and do both.
As far as playing area, facility, whatever, where's that going to be, and how's that going to work, I guess, on campus?
Yes, actually when I first got here, I didn't even expect Carson-Newman to have a sand volleyball court. And as we started to warm up last springtime, the girls kept begging me, Coach, let's go outside and play. Let's go outside and play. And I was like, where are we going to go outside and play? Like, we've got a great sand court here on campus. We went out, checked it out, and it was a beautiful court. The students here on campus built that court for all students, and it's run by our student athletics committee, the students committee here on campus. We went, asked them if they wouldn't mind letting us use their court. They said, definitely use our court. It's so close. It's only about $100, $200 away from being NCAA specific. They've done a great job here building that court. And like I said, the donors and the sponsors we have, they're putting in a second court for us. And if you have 2 sand courts, then you can host an NCAA match. So that's what we have going.
All right. As far as are you going to start playing this semester?
Yes, we declared in December to the NCAA. NCAA approved it for us. We'll compete this springtime. We start in March. We'll go to the University of South Carolina to play in their tournament. We'll go to the College of Charleston, play in their tournament. We'll go to Florida State, play in their tournament. And then we'll go down to Miami Beach and play in the Florida International Tournament. We'll play all those schools we just mentioned, plus Arizona, Stanford, University of Alabama, Birmingham, Georgia State. And then we'll also play the University of Tennessee. Rob Patrick, he's looking into adding sand volleyball, and we're actually going to play them at a neutral site at K2 Volleyball Club in Knoxville. So that'll be fun, and that'll how we'll conclude our sand season.
Talk about crossover. How many players do you think you'll have that played indoor volleyball that are going to move over to sand volleyball?
Right now, pretty much our entire indoor team will play sand volleyball right now. Last springtime we got here, they thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not sure who's more excited, myself or them, to keep playing sand volleyball. But in the future, I think a few of them just want to concentrate on indoor, and a few just want to concentrate on sand. I should imagine there will be an overlap, about 8, 9 girls that'll play indoor and sand, and then we'll have about 4 or 5 girls that just play indoor, and then probably 4 or 5 girls that just play sand.
You talked about ladies coming and getting their master's degrees. As far as like some of the graduating seniors that you have this year, Have any of them expressed interest in coming back, like Rachel or anybody coming back and playing next year?
Yes, as soon as we said that we were going to have sand volleyball, yes, Rachel Harper and Kristen Pickett have both already said yes, they want to come back, they want to play sand, they want to play a fifth year, they want to get a great master's degree here at Carson-Newman. I believe Lauren Santarelli and Jenna Wilson are still mulling the idea. They love it here, they want to play, but yeah, they're still mulling it over.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, I think you guys did just for fun, I guess, a tournament in the preseason kind of. Is that what kind of spurred this, or is it something kind of in the works?
Yes. So last springtime, we started playing out there in the sand, and they have what they call the Collegiate Beach National Championships, separate from the NCAA. And our girls were playing. They kept getting better in the springtime, and they went to Nashville to compete in that tournament. And I think we took first and third in that tournament. And because Kristen and Rachel won that tournament, they got their flight paid for out to California to compete at the Collegiate Beach National Championships in California. And I think the donors saw, how much they did and how successful it was. And they were like, why can't we bring the beach here to Tennessee? And yeah, I think that was a big part of why we're adding sand.
What was the name of that tournament?
I believe it's the Collegiate Beach National Championships.
It was in Nashville?
Yes, they have several regional tournaments all throughout the country, and if you win that regional tournament, then you get to go to California, and they held it in Nashville, and they got to fly out to California.
You mentioned Kristen and Rachel playing last year. I know they both talked about how that really improved how they played indoor. How do you think that having those crossover athletes and really being able to play, 12 months is going to help both programs? Yeah, it's a good point. Indoor volleyball, a lot of pounding on the knees, ankles, so you all the time are worried about injury to those body parts. Sand, you're playing on a real soft surface, and you're not only playing the game of volleyball, you're also strength training, you're conditioning, and getting the several extra months of practice that the NCAA allows us to have to play sand volleyball will definitely make us better in the fall indoor season.
You kind of touched on the schedule. Just how fun is this to have a crack at Tennessee, to get to play some big name opponents pretty much all day, all night? It's a lot of fun.
Share the big names with them that the obviously the folks in Knoxville will recognize. Stanford.
Oh, yes.
Florida State. Yeah. They're pretty big names around here, Dan, but Tennessee. Go ahead, tell them others.
It's one of those things. Tennessee likes to be the big brother, and an opportunity to play Tennessee, an opportunity to beat Tennessee is incredible. I think it's incredible for Carson-Newman. It's incredible for our student athletes. I think hopefully it'll bring back more of a rivalry between Tennessee and Carson-Newman in all sports.
Well, let me just add to that several of our coaches are here, and I feel like we've got the best coaching staff in the country. And they know that we expect excellence, and we want to compete for championships and do it the right way with a strong Christian commitment. And that's part of our mission at Carson-Newman. But secondly, by having the opportunity, because the NCAA will not penalize these larger universities by playing Carson-Newman, gives us the chance for great exposure in South Carolina, where we recruit in all sports, in Florida, where we recruit in all sports, in Alabama, where we recruit in all sports. And without question in my mind, we will be competitive, or we wouldn't be adding something where we thought we would be the weak sister. Plus, then it will give, as Coach alluded to, it'll give our present players an opportunity to continue to develop their schedule within the NCAA limits year-round. And so the visibility that it gives Carson-Newman, and that's something that we want to continue to work on as a university, that we not only feel like it's going to give these young women, more young women, the opportunity to participate in the collegiate level, it's going to also give our other coaches visibility as they're out recruiting the areas against these schools. And because they'll hear the name Carson-Newman, because I expect Coach Ahiers and our team will go win. And is that the criteria and ultimate goal? Not necessarily. But if we're coming to win. And so I'm pleased about that. But more than that, let me just say that we won't be adding scholarships. We'll stay the NCAA limit and indoor.
Maximum.
We don't we don't pay the coach any more than he's making today. We're not adding money to the budget. We're simply bringing more students to this campus and giving this university broader visibility because we have coaches like Coach Ahiers who expect excellence and are willing to take on additional responsibilities to improve this university and our mission for Christ.
Anything else?
We're giving those D1s an opportunity to play against Carson-Newman.
Well, that's exactly what. Well, we have Coach Sparks in the back, and I probably shouldn't say this, but we have in the past played Division I schools, and I won't call any names, but some of our good friends to the north, we played, and we absolutely wore them out 4 years in a row. We play a good friend to the south, Division I, and we go down there and beat them, and it gets their head coach fired. So Coach Sparks is the reason that nobody will play Carson-Newman. In the past, we played universities all across the South, Division I, great schools, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Vandy. We've played them in baseball. We'd love to do that again. But because of it gives them nothing to gain by advancing to their NCAA tournament. And I understand. I do understand why it's not an advantage for them. But if anyone hears this and you're interested in playing, we have our golf coach here. She'd be Suzanne Strudwick, which has, I think, as good a program in the South in golf. Our swim coach, Paige McCord's here. Second-year program. We're ranked 21st in the country. Track seasons here. We've already have several that qualified for the national tournament. If you're interested in playing, we'll come to your place. So, with that said, I'm pleased that Coach Ahiers has agreed to take on additional responsibilities. I'm pleased for the university, and more importantly, I'm pleased that it'll give us the opportunity to bring additional young ladies to this campus and get us to share our faith and our volleyball opportunities with them.